My name is Carden. I'm the Resources and Systems Manager for the University of the Arts London. Resources and Systems, from that point of view, is Discovery. This is who we are, just for anybody who doesn't know. It's a list of our colleges and institutes, which I won't read out. It's big, but we're specialists and teach art, design, fashion, communication, performing arts, creative computing. We have 6 colleges. We have 8 libraries. So it's not your standard kind of institution. It's very different. This is what we do. I asked somebody to make this for me, and it's arty things really. That's what we do. That represents most of what goes on at the university. The institutional characteristics are interesting with respect to kind of content that we buy. So practice-based learning, practice-based teaching and research, interdisciplinary stuff that goes on. And the library characteristics are a bit different. We still have very healthy on-site library usage. One of the best things about working at UAL, and Jenny Clare used to work there, Sue works there, is seeing students with piles of books sitting on the floor looking for inspiration from that material. And it's fantastic to see, and it's why I'm still there, really, because it's infuriating in other ways. But yeah, it's why I'm still there. Print is really important still in art and design institutions. The book as object as well as the content that it contains is important. So we have a lot of that. We have a lot of donations, whether we want them or not. Sometimes we have to take them. We hate donations, don't we, Steve? But sometimes we have to take them. A lot of one-off things. We have a traditional OPAC, which means that e-books are also catalogued. We don't just rely on them being Discovery there, although they're there as well. Most of our students are starting in our cohort library search OPAC. So we are a bit different in that way. And consequentially, there's a lot of irregular cataloguing, a lot of which has never been catalogued before by anyone else. BDS certainly can't provide us with a record of some of this stuff. And it requires professional attention from professional cataloguers. So alongside Sue, we have 3 professional cataloguers, but they have other work as well. It's not the only thing that they do. So we're early adopters, which is sometimes quite painful. We're early adopters of what was then the BDS library licence. Our strategic drivers were these. It was about releasing time, not releasing people. We were really careful to explain that to our cataloguers. It was about releasing their time for other things, not about releasing them. We wanted to reduce the metadata sources to simplify and automate workflows. Quality metadata is really important for Discovery, and Discovery is what we do. We prioritise Discovery. One of the few places that still do authority control. We were talking to various suppliers about who could supply us with records previously, about customisations. It's good to only have to talk to one supplier about customisations now. And we wanted something that would integrate with our LMS, at least for the shelf-ready element of the material that we buy, which would be about 65%, perhaps 70% of what we buy. And these are the benefits we've seen from the BDS licence so far. It's almost cost neutral. We're no longer paying for records from book suppliers, we're no longer paying for records from OCLC, which we were doing before. It hasn't saved us any money on human cataloguing, but that was never the intention. So it's almost cost neutral. I think the budget stretched just very, very slightly. The records are of good quality. I think with BDS we feel we can ask for a higher standard than we could from previous record suppliers. Whether Sue agrees, Sue's standards are very high. I don't know what she's talking about. Most of the time it's standards. Our order to shelf time we think has improved for the material that's in scope. We have an end-to-end integration now with our main book supplier, which is ProQuest, and our cohort LMS, which is good. I'm thinking about ecological benefits, which I think one of you talked about this morning. The university has a social purpose institute as part of its makeup now. And we really do need to think about sustainability in everything that we do. So I think it's potentially greener to do it this way. It's certainly greener to be using digital surrogates, as BDS are doing now, but also it must be greener to have someone doing this work for you and not having 200 universities all doing the same work all at the same time. So it must be more efficient for the sector. It must be more sustainable for the sector. And we did ask them if this was true about staff wellbeing, particularly staff who do cataloguing. We think they're now less stressed by what's sitting in front of them on the shelves waiting to be catalogued. We did double check that with them when we ran through this presentation. We didn't want to say things that weren't true. So we think it's improved staff wellbeing. These are the issues that we've had. First one is being an early adopter. It took a long time to get up and running with this, at least 18 months for the full integration to be working. You do expect that, though, as an early adopter. I think it may have been smoother for Andrew. I don't know. No, it wasn't smoother for Andrew. But we've got there now. In the last, 6 months or so, we've got there, and that's great. And Sue will take you through a few workflows because we're not just using it one way, we're using it in other ways as well. Scope and coverage. We still have a significant percentage of content which is out of scope for BDS, pre-2010, foreign language stuff. We think that's improving over time. The hit rates have got better over time, but that would always be the case with our subject specialisms. It would always be the case in our environment, I think. And the monitoring customisation, Sue has a lot of that to do. And that's probably unique to us because we try and maintain really high standards for discoverability, including cataloguing standards and that element of authority control that I mentioned before. Yeah, overall, I think it's met the brief. If Sue's happy, I'm happy.